I don't think. In the hell. Did you hear that? Hello there and welcome back, and we're going to jump straight into story time today. 8 years ago, almost to the day, I suffered a pretty severe back injury. I was playing football with some work colleagues, was running along, not particularly in any aggressive or competitive way, and then suddenly, just like that, my back went and could barely walk. Just what it felt like was all my agility just suddenly disappearing. It was very strange, very painful. I used the time recovering to write my ebook and get the YouTube channel started basically. And I went to the doctors, went to the hospital, had a scan and everything, and discovered that I had slipped 3 discs, not just 1, 3, the lower 3 on my spine. But then after a bit of treatment, the doctors decided that I was right on the borderline of having an operation. And I was really keen not to, because they don't always go so well, the back operations. So I managed to avoid that. But what that has meant is that the road back has been a long one, a very long one. So today is a big day for me because I am doing the longest walk, the longest trek for photography that I've done since I injured my back. Around the North York Moors, which I think is one of the most underrated places in the entire UK for doing landscape photography. I benefit from that though, because it's always completely quiet. I have at the moment this whole wood entirely to myself. So I'd love it if you stuck with me, because I think it's going to be a really satisfying and meaningful day. With, well, there's going to be some photography tips in there for you as well, so yeah, let's go. Right, well, the rain is coming down pretty heavily already. I'm still only about half an hour into this, and the problem is I have forgotten my waterproof trousers. So if it gets too much heavier, I'm going to have very wet legs. But it is quite warm, so hopefully they'll dry out quickly when the rain stops. Classic sort of British spring, summer type weather. Right, my first stop today is just up this very steep hill here. And it was a destination of one of my favourite ever adventures that I had on this channel. It was the hunt for the Medusa tree. And to be honest, I've had as much trouble finding it today as I did back then. It's extremely difficult to find, which I guess is probably its secret weapon, because it's such an old oak tree, hundreds of years old, and I think one of my favourite ever trees. And at the top of the hill, there it is. God, I've been up and down this hill at various points about 5 times to find this thing. She is utterly beautiful though, almost overwhelming. Right, I'm set up for a shot, and it is a bit of a bizarre one. It's a really difficult position to work in because the hill in front of Medusa here is so steep. It's hard to stand on, it's hard to get a composition, it's hard to set your tripod up. However, I think I'm quite excited because it is the middle of May, and at the moment in my garden at home, the bluebells are out. So I always know that's a good sign that in the North York Moors, where there are plenty of bluebells, they will be out too. And I was hoping, I was praying that there would be some bluebells around the Medusa tree. But I've been rewarded with a single bluebell. Actually, maybe 2 plants, I'm not sure. These beautiful ones right in front of me here. But the challenge is that Medusa, and the rock that she's grown out of, is huge. And this bluebell is absolutely tiny. So what I am doing is using the wide angle lens, the extreme wide angle lens, to my advantage. So it's set up on the floor just down here, and I'm using a piece of the dead wood that's fallen from Medusa, almost like a tripod, to prop the lens up so I can get the camera really close to the bluebell, angle it up right in front of the bluebell, so the bluebell is kind of filling the frame, and then using that perspective and the combination of the wide angle, that's then branching out and looking up at Medusa. And with an aperture of f4, the bluebell is in nice sharp focus, or will be, and then Medusa should be very noticeable, very visible, but a little bit dissolved into the background blur. So it gives these bluebells centre stage, but with this just fantastic context of the setting in front of the Medusa tree. That's the theory anyway. I'm hoping it's going to work. The dynamic range is huge because I do have a little bit of, because it's angled so far up, I do have a bit of the sky in there. So I'm going to bracket these images. There's no way I can use filters. So bracketing is the only way. I'm at f4, and I think what I'm going to have to do, because I want the bluebell in sharp focus, is get down to the camera. So I'm going to disappear out the shots, get right down here, and using the camera to zoom in, and then pretty much manual focus, because I think that's the only way I'm going to get this single bluebell in focus. So that's 2-second timer, and then fire away. And I'm kneeling right down in the dirt as well, so I'm getting muddy right at the start of this shift. Do you know what? I think that is pretty good. More than I could have hoped for. If I'd wanted to place this bluebell in one spot, I think this would have been it. It's the only one in the entire vicinity. So I feel quite privileged to have seen that, and I think it's something unique. Right, I'm going to have one more composition here, and then we need to get going again. I'll just show you both of the images I take now. And yeah, let me know what you think. I'm sorry I can't share this location because this is such an old tree. It's a very delicate place that couldn't handle a load of footfall. But if you want to put the work in to try and find it, go for it. Because let me tell you, it's extremely difficult to find and took a lot of work. Twice. Well, that was absolutely epic, but the rain has really started to come down now, just as I'm starting my final hike right up on top of the moors. So it's likely to get windier, a bit more brutal. But yeah, it's feeling great to be out. So as is often the way, the weather has created an opportunity for me. It's absolutely tanking it down, and as you can see over there, it's dark and it's moody and it's exciting, and the weather is producing something. It's producing the kind of conditions that I absolutely love. There is a tendency for landscape photographers, very much including me, to only want to shoot at the golden hour, to get those beautiful, colourful sunsets with pink and magentas in the sky and that warm, lovely golden hour light on the rocks and the land, and it's just fantastic. I love those conditions. However, I think the thing to do is ignore yourself when it comes to that and go out in all conditions, and particularly the key to that, I think, is to go out all day. Go out all day on foot on a mini adventure like I'm having today, and photo opportunities will just present themselves. Somewhere along the line I forgot this, but I'm right back on it now, and I'm rediscovering the thing that I used to love, is going hiking, going backpacking, going on a mini adventure to do photography. And that is the key, I think, to enjoying photography during the day, especially in the UK, where you're just going to get all kinds of weather at all times of the year. There's always an opportunity. And I'm focusing on some of the trees in the field there that have really nice isolation against the green background. It's those lovely spring greens, super moody conditions. I don't need a lens hood on because the rain's coming down at that angle, so it's not actually hitting the lens, I don't think. I will give it a wipe just to be sure. Let's have a little look at that. I absolutely love that. I love it in these conditions. Makes it more challenging, but in the end, it's more rewarding. Right, I made it to the top. And things have taken a bit of a turn for the worst because the rain is just relentlessly heavy. And the worst thing about it all is that I'm up on the moors now, right on the top, nothing around me at all, and there are thunderstorms forecast. I've got to be on the top for probably about an hour. It's a really tricky decision to make because it looks like the weather is going to clear up in about 45 minutes. But before that, it's going to get heavier. As you might be able to tell on the lens. I think I might wait here just at the top of the hill, see what happens. And if I need to, I can dart back down and hide under a rock. So frustrating though. I've still got a long way to go and time is pressing on. It's mid-afternoon now. Probably got about 5-6 hours left of light. And yeah, quite a way to go. Especially if I want to do some photography at the same time. Oh, it's so wet. And with not having the waterproof trousers as well, my legs are soaked. And if I stand around for too long, I get cold. Yeah, pretty brutal now. I had in mind today to make it a full day adventure, cook some nice food, show that on the video, but now it's just a case of getting some food on board so I can think straight, have the energy to keep pressing on. So I'm just eating this all-day breakfast straight out of the packet, completely cold. See that? It's not actually as bad as it sounds. Just any food at this stage is going to give me a boost. Shit. Hearing rumbles of thunder coming from the top there, so I'm going to hightail it back off this moor. I was in the middle of eating this pretty plasticky chocolate pudding, but it could give me energy I need to get back down out of here. Oh no, don't feel good about this. Feels like I'm giving up. Am I making the right choice? I don't know. Right, I've got down off the top now, but I'm still not really in the clear. It's very frustrating because I kind of feel like it's in about half an hour, it's either going to be full thunder and lightning or completely sunny. And I just don't know which way it's going to go. And when I was back at the top, my rational brain was telling me it was going to be absolutely fine. I was feeling the fear a little bit, but my gut was telling me it's going to be absolutely fine. But few rumbles of thunder going around now, kind of coming from over that direction, and my rational brain is now telling me it's 50-50. I don't think. Fucking hell. Did you hear that? I'm sorry, but these videos are not worth a 50-50 risk. It's frustrating with thunder and lightning when you're out and about though, because it just doesn't feel. Your sort of gut tells you that you're just never going to get struck by lightning. But one time on this video here, I was almost caught in a thunderstorm, but I was by the coast and I was near my car. Just after I finished filming the video, a fork of lightning struck the car park floor about 5 meters from my car. Now I was in my car, so I was protected and stuff, but the sheer force and the sheer power of the thing and the noise it created was unbelievable. So I do have full respect for it. Nature is out to get us, is one thing that I've learned. We have become very, very comfortable in our modern lives, protected from nature, as it were. And I think many people have forgotten that it can actually kill you. So yeah, I think that's my mindset at the moment, but I've just probably added another few kilometres to my walk though, and my back is struggling too, so. Not gonna lie, that was a little bit scary. I think I'll be okay under this rock. And then I'm surrounded by these really tall pine trees. So I think I'm okay here. I might just sit here and wait it out. I'm very wet. There's not anything that's left that's dry now. Luckily, it's not too cold. Probably about 15, 16 degrees, so even though I'm wet, not particularly cold. On these videos, I often talk about making a connection to nature, being out in the landscape, doing photography, being artistic. It all seems like something you'd really want to do when it's nice and the weather's good. But although this is challenging right now, a little bit miserable and difficult, I absolutely feel a connection to all these things around me. This rock is sheltering me half from the rain and hopefully from the lightning. There was another one. Did you hear that? And then I've got the sound of the rain hitting all this lovely grass around me. The odd bird tweeting. And then the pine trees. I'm in the woods, so there's barely a breath of wind. So, whilst nature is on the one hand trying to kill me, at least that's what it feels like. On the other hand, it's also protecting me, and I feel connected to it. I feel part of it because there's no advantage that I have out here that humans normally have. I don't have any energy source other than the food I've eaten, and I don't have any shelter or vehicle or anything to protect me. It's just me and the elements. And I think that's significant. It's not like being on a roller coaster where it's just immediately fun. That's okay, but you forget about that kind of fun very quickly. This is the kind of fun where, at a time like this, it's pretty miserable, but then when I make it home, when I survive it all, and when I'm warm and dry again, I'll look back on this with a lot of fondness, I think, and it will be fun for the rest of my life. It's something I'll never forget, and I'm making a video about it as well, so it's being documented as well. And I think I've got a couple of really good photographs as well. So, whilst this video hasn't quite turned out like I thought it was gonna, I've certainly got a lot out of the day, and I hope you have too. I've still got to figure out some way of getting back to my car though. It's a long way. A good 10 to 15 miles away now, I think. Anyway, please do check out the rawroom.online. It's a online learning platform that I've set up. It has all my masterclasses on there and other tutorials and these videos without the ads and the sponsorships. That's subscription free now. It's if you like the content on there and you watch it, then you can consider donating, but I'd really appreciate it if you check out rawroom.online, and yeah, hopefully you'll see me again. Bye.